Please. Do I have to start over again? Okay. Please turn off your phones or set them on vibrate, and then having done that, stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Okay. Now we're
Councilor Miera,
still here.
Councilor Burkett, Councilor Murray,
Still here.
Councilor Alsobrook,
Counselor Waldman is online.
Councilwoman's on his way,
No, online.
online. Councilor Woolman,
Here.
how about Councilor Knight?
Counselor Knight was going to try and zoom in, but I haven't seen her yet, so it doesn't look like she was able to join us from where she
Okay,
met.
well, we have a quorum. We're okay. Okay, I need a motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved.
Do I have a
Second.
And a second. So I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Very good. Thank you. We'll move on now to the administrator's report.
First up is Tanya giving us a health update, please.
There we go. Thank you, Mayor, Council Administrator Curry. So school has started back, and I think all parents found out when their kids started going to school, everyone always gets sick when school starts back. You got people who are mingling who haven't seen each other. And that appears to be kind of what's happening. Nationally, wastewater is moderate for COVID, and it is increasing. Santa Fe is still climbing, and it's gone to high for wastewater. Bernalillo County, Sandoval County border wastewater is low, but climbing. Everything is going up. And in the South and Southwest are the highest increases in COVID right now. And if we look at the national numbers, test positivity went up from 6.6% to 8.6%. Emergency room departments climbed 0.2% from 0.7% to 9%. Hospitalizations are holding steady, and then deaths are still are declining, but death is a lagging indicator. So, but one of the interesting facts about death is for July, and death numbers take a while to come out. For the week of ending July 5th, which is the last week we have full death numbers for, we had 165 deaths due to COVID in the United States. That is up from 162 the previous week, which was the lowest number it had been since we had a pandemic. So we're starting to climb again. As for measles, largest outbreaks in 20 years. The numbers come out on Wednesdays now. So as of August 5th, we have 1,356 measles cases. And we do expect that to climb. And with lowering vaccination rates, we also should be expecting some mumps and rubella to also start coming out. And I talked last week about we've had the most whooping cough cases diagnosed this year at 67 when our average is 27. And I'm going to follow that up with August is National Vaccine Immunization Awareness Month. So talk to your doctor, talk to your pharmacist, and look at your vaccine record to see if you're missing anything. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, guys? Okay. Tanya, thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. Next up is Chief Martinez and with a visual. And this visual is really cool. And the result, it shows the result of a lot of work and planning, and it's just the beginning, kind of.
Is this a water visual?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, Administrator Curry. We had some little difficulties getting on the big screen, but this is on our Instagram account. So if you're not following us, please do. This is a video of our firefighters flushing out a hydrant at the end of Dixon. We're super excited. I know you've been hearing me talk about our goal to get there this spring. We're got a little behind schedule. You could see that we're shooting, this is just strictly hydrant pressure on a 2.5-inch fire hose with one of our portable nozzles. No, we are not wasting the water. We're putting it back into the clear ditch. But this is required to flush it to get all the air out so we could hydrostatic test the system, which it passed. We installed 6 hydrants total, but this particular hydrant is probably the most important. It being that it's so close to the Bosque, and as you know, the clear ditches are dry. We've been relying on the clear ditches in the river for water, for fire suppression if we get a Bosque fire or vegetation fire. So as you know, they're dry. So we're real excited to get that hydrant fully functional. We anticipate, once the contractor's done, they're putting bollards and, putting concrete around the hydrant. We hope to go flow test all the hydrants and the certified to see what they produce as far as gallons per minute. And we anticipate at least 1,000 gallons a minute out of that hydrant at the end of Dixon. So thank you for allowing me to present that. Super exciting times. Any questions?
No, but can I say, great?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Chief, Chief,
And
what's your fire hydrant count now?
I should have anticipated that question. We're over 60 and I don't have the exact number, but as you could tell, we've been super busy thanks to the support of you, the council, the administration and citizens and our legislators and governor for listening to us and our needs for infrastructure and water. I know water is a big deal. I push for water for fire suppression and we need water to put fires out, but I know that it's a bigger deal for the farmers and everything else. But if we keep this momentum and progress, it's obviously you could see, little steps, but eventually we'll get there. So our next step in about 3 weeks, we're hoping we're going to start going south from the elementary school. This will be phase 2 of the Andrews project. There'll be an additional 6 fire hydrants, a total of 2,800 linear feet of 8-inch pipe. And our goal is to have a hydrant right outside of here at the Village Hall on the corner of La Entrada and Carlos Road. We're going to come down Andrews, hang a right, and then try to put a hydrant here to protect the businesses along Carlos Road. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you very much, Anthony.
I wanted to thank both our police department and fire department for their participation in the night out this last Tuesday night. Almost all of our first responders were participating in one form or another from the police department and the fire department. And they were present in about 8 homes scattered throughout the village. So I want to thank the people who hosted our first responders that coming in there. So good turnout. Also wanted to report that our working group on our water rights is working. And we will give you an update as we get closer to our presentation that we will come forward with for the state engineer. But it's a definitely aggressive work in progress. And then one thing, and I wanted to, Councilor Mira may want to say something as well as Mike when he's here, but due to the diligence of Councilor Mira, I would just wanted to thank him. We're going to have the Secretary of the Department of Transportation out on Corrales Road this Friday. And so it's going to be a learning experience, I think, for the Secretary. So that's it. That's it, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Are any of the governing body invited along? Other than yourself?
Well,
We've got some problems over there. We'd like.
Can you speak into your microphone,
We're gonna
Counselor?
be, we're going to be talking about how it is that involves the entire community. So you'll be getting your invitation.
Okay.
Thank you. We're working, the reason I haven't gotten the invitation even yet, some of you on the outside are still waiting for us, is we're also trying to see if we can take the secretary to lunch prior to that. And so if not, we have a home set up, but Michael talked to us about where the event's going to take place. But the bottom line for your question, I want to thank you for asking it, is it's going to We're going to be putting it in the home, in somebody's home. We're going to have the reception there. And what a better place for the secretary to come and see what happened in Corrales than to see in the Corraleños' home. So that's where we're going to have it.
Sounds good.
But
Yeah.
Michael talks more about it.
And,
But you're going to put him on the road, right?
We're going to put him on the road as well.
Yeah.
and and that will be posted as a possible quorum.
Already
Yes.
is.
Okay, be posted as a possible quorum, and there will likely be a Zoom capability.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. So Ron, what's the status on the $2 million wastewater fund design? Is that still in flux, or where are we at with that?
It still has not been signed yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we're waiting on the grant agreement to come back from the state.
Councilman Burkett.
I have a status question as well. How are we looking on conservation easements? I assume we've been getting some feedback, kind of exploring the properties we ranked previously.
Right, we just, were getting back some legal notes from Randy Audio to Michael Cisco so that we can proceed with that. So that was a step that we had to get through, some clarifications on the next document that we have to proceed with. But so I anticipate that that Melanie and I will be meeting with Michael sometime in the next 7 days.
And the next farmland preservation meeting, I believe, is next Thursday. Is that right, Sam? And it has moved to the community center at 11 a.m. on the third Thursday of every month.
Okay. Anybody else? And you're done. Okay. Well, then let's move on to Corraleños Forum. This section is for informational purposes only, not for discussion or debate, to inform the governing body of an issue or a concern that would not be addressed on the agenda during the business session. There will be a 3-minute time limit for each speaker.
Okay. Up first is Mike Hammond. Mike, if you'll come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. You will have 3 minutes. And Sky is passing out a letter that Mike is going to reference.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Appreciate the opportunity to present to you this evening. The document that we're handing out is a summation of the concerns of Corrales residents on the north end of town. There's been quite a bit of concern about traffic safety there, but I first want to recognize Councilman Miera, also Mayor Fahey and Administrator Curry for being very proactive with us as a community. They've all been out on site, taking a look at the situation and hearing the concerns. There's been numerous accidents in just the last 6 months and incidents and near misses that our residents on the north end have been facing. I live at 184 Mountain View Lane, and that particular driveway is pretty challenging to get in and out. I also have a small farm, and I frequently pull a trailer in and out of there, and it is quite hairy getting in and out of that location. The other people I'd like to thank are my fellow neighbors that helped organize this. You'll notice there's over 90 signatures on this document. Eddie Chavez, who lives on the same turnout area that I do, is very active. Russell Trujillo as well, and his wife Sharon, and also Gary Durth and his wife Karen hosted a session of neighbors to come together and talk about this issue. So I wanted to recognize them. But the body of the letter basically talks about the observed conditions in recent history. We have increasing traffic due to the further development going on in Rio Rancho through the connections of Pat Diorco Highway and New Mexico 448. So we're seeing an uptick and continual increase in traffic through that area. And you combine that with the combination of Loma Larga coming in off of Camino Todos de Los Santos, merging into that same area. It's about 1.5 miles of very curvy area, and it has the highest speed limit along New Mexico 448. So I just wanted to make that known. We have a specific request for consideration. And I've already talked to the mayor and Mr. Curry about this, and they're being very proactive. As we mentioned, we have a meeting set up with the Secretary of DOT this Friday. We want to get the District 3 engineer involved. Hopefully he'll be part of the folks coming out. We really want to encourage them to reevaluate the speed limit in that area. And
That's your time.
okay, so you'll also see a list of other things that we're recommending that we would like to work with the village on, and also direction to the Department of Transportation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.
Up next is Ken DeHoff. Ken, if you'll come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. You will have 3 minutes.
Good evening. I'm Ken DeHoff, 66 Bad Coyote Place, North End. I'm a part of that community Mike just talked to, and I'm here to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about the assessor this evening, although I could. I wanted to give you just a couple of data points. We've had 2 significant accidents on the North End in the last 8 months. The first one, the guy sheared off a power pole. It's 80 feet to the north of me, right on the highway, and he missed a double gas hydrant by 3 feet. That could have been a real disaster. He reported he was going 40 and the lady in front of him stopped, but a witness said no, he was doing 60 plus. And when the lady tried to get out and saw him coming, he hit her, clipped her, and that's what caused that accident. That's a horrible thing, and it happened right on the turn, just past Teresa Corrales. And he got cited for following too close. That's it, following too close. The other one, the dearth fence, the gentleman, they found him an hour, I don't know if you know this, it's in the report, the police report. They found him an hour after the event. He admitted to the Rio Rancho Police Department that he had had approximately 10 beers. And they didn't do anything. They didn't take blood. They just cited him, Corrales cited him for failure to maintain lane and not having insurance. You know, it seems like there's something needs to happen, right? That our enforcement, and it's hard, and I get the realities of the police having to prosecute these things, but there needs to be deterrence in our legal system if we're going to stop these people from doing these crazy things. I mean, it's not a Corrales problem, right? It's a United States problem. But I just wanted to give you guys a couple of data points. We just had another accident. You know, we'll have to pull the report on. I think in Corrales overall this year, we've had 4 power poles down. You know, the guy out here in front of the building, right? I mean, there's an issue there. And I think reducing the speed limit helps those that are moderately attentive to slow them down. But I don't know that a speed limit or what's going to help the guy that's doing 60 in a 35.
Thank you.
Okay, up next is Sam Thompson. Sam, if you'll come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, or what group you're representing today. You'll have 3 minutes.
Thanks, Melanie. Sam Thompson, 1737 Camino de la Tierra. Thank you for allowing me to speak to you tonight. I'm here as president.
Sam, yeah,
I'm here as,
there you go.
whoa. I'm here as president of the Corrales Farmers Cooperative. And we're a pretty new nonprofit that came into being because of the problems that you're well aware of that our farmers have been facing for the last couple of years and that are still ongoing, and we're still facing them. We have come together to create this co-op, but it's not easy to get a nonprofit off the ground. And I just came up here tonight on behalf of the board of the co-op to thank Main Street for all the support they've been giving us as we're trying to get this off the ground. They have been there to call us into economic development meetings to see what it is that can be done by state economic development, by county local development to help the farmers get through this period of time. We really appreciate them bringing us to the table. They have done things like buy stickers for us to pass out to the kids during the 4th of July parade. It's a little thing, but it's a way to get our name out there and get us known. It also helps us to promote the idea of buy local produce, which is really what we're trying to do. If we're going to keep our farmers here, we all have to support them. We have to buy local produce. The Harvest Festival asked the co-op to put on a farm tour this year during Harvest Festival. And we're doing it the 27th of September. Thank you, Mayor, for mentioning it in your mayor's message. I actually got people coming and buying tickets at Growers Market because of that. So do
Good.
that every week
Good.
if you would. That'd be really great. Anyway, what's really amazing about this, to make this tour easier on the farmers, it's a curated tour where we have people on a bus. Well, renting a bus for a day, as it turns out, I learned is very expensive. It's $1,400 for the day. Main Street stepped up to pay for it. And we're really, really grateful for that. And I just wanted to thank them publicly for what they're doing to help us. And I'm going to be under my 3 minutes. And while I'm here, Melanie Romero, thank you so much for all you do to get information on the agriculture page. By the way, there's an agriculture page for those of you out there that don't know that. And you can get to it from the homepage of the village site. Also, buy local produce. I hope to see every one of you at Growers Market on Sunday. That's at 9 o'clock. Fill up those grocery bags. Thank you.
It's right there.
Thank you.
Okay, next is Teresa Lopez. And Teresa, I'll give you a moment to get your stool set up. As a fellow short person, I get it.
You get it. Fun, yeah, talk about it, right?
Give us your name and address for the record and you'll have 3 minutes.
Teresa Lopez, Corrales. I'm going to be talking a little bit about a lot of things that involve the village. Curry, you said about the interior drain meeting that it was a very heated and disappointing meeting to you in many ways. I wonder why you said that. Many people that were there in person and in Zoom that I spoke to felt that it was a great meeting, like kind of like a town hall. It was great to hear other people's thoughts one way or the other, not just a selected few. And if you remember, there was also a lot of laughter and a few old memories. And when Mr. Eichhorst was talking for his 3 minutes during the Codadena Forum, you seemed to be getting very heated in your chair until he pointed at you and said it was his turn to talk. That to the people in the room was very disappointing and disrespectful to see. The camera didn't show it on YouTube, just like it didn't show the mayor's fit when he had with Mr. Murray a few weeks ago either. Again, here come those 3 words that most of us learned: transparency, honesty, and respect. We are all given a time to speak and a time to listen in our lives. And as Mel said, 90% of the people didn't agree with the plan from Amy Bell and her company. Mel said it reminded her of an old country road and that the interior drain needs to keep its realness. Thank you, Mel, and to all those that agree with some of those thoughts. Okay, the next one is the transparency, honesty, and respect. Again, what's the plan for the Anderson property? You spend a lot of money putting in electricity, but it nor the Gonzalez property have yet to have a site plan that has been mentioned many times. The Gonzalez field now has orange poles and a sign that says valet parking only on one side, and Sandia Bar now offering complimentary valet parking. The Gonzalez property doesn't belong to the Sandia Bar, does it? So people again are wondering, how is this happening, and isn't that illegal? Before that, the signs on both properties said public parking with the Corrales seal. Like many people have said, you want to tell us how to live on our own property while the village isn't even obeying its own rules that the mayor took an oath to follow. Please give me an honest answer, someone, please, so that I can pass the correct information along. And Mr. Mira, I hope you also did a study on our S-turn because it's pretty bad also, starting there at Sagebrush going north. That's where the Corrales cop was paralyzed in an accident a few years ago. We need to have Corrales Road, which would be great, just 25, the whole stretch, because there's so much change and people that come here don't know the road and are always rushing like they did before they came to Corrales. Many of us that live on the road have been told, well, you can just move. That's not an option for some of us, no matter how much money we're offered. Many don't understand it, but I've said before, this is our querencia, our home. It runs in our blood and in our heart. Bottom line, our elders said it's our duty, our responsibility to love, respect, and protect our small piece of the big picture. It's our land, all of us that live here now, and we need to preserve and protect it. I hope you all get to feeling the same way I do. Thank you. Little Sue and I will come back next.
Up next is Bob Eichhorst. Bob, if you'll come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes.
Bob Eichhorst, live in Corrales. I used to be on the town council. I've gone to the legislature too many times. I go to watch them make the sausage. When do you guys make sausage here? All we get is a final product. I never hear any discussion among councilmen. I never hear any direction from council to mayor. When is anything being done? You've got a full agenda tonight. When was any of this discussed? How does it magically appear here in a completed form without it going through the sausage factory? Somebody has to be making sausage and we have to see it. That is our obligation of you guys, is that we get to see you guys make sausage. You don't get to hide your discussions. Emails are not allowed. You're supposed to do your business right here in front of us. That way we know who we're going to vote for and who we're damn sure not going to vote for. But to do anything behind the scene, I can't say that's what's happening. But I damn sure don't know when you guys are talking, because you're not doing it in this council. And this is a very full agenda with a lot of business being done that was never discussed. You guys are lucky. This will be my last meeting. I got to teach a night class for a while. And so you can cuss me when I leave. But damn it, do your stuff here so we can see it. That's our right. We're supposed to know what you guys are talking about. You guys can't keep doing this stuff. And every time somebody says something, the mayor says, well, we'll talk about it offline. You can't talk about it offline. That's illegal. You got to talk about it here. Thank you.
Okay. Next is Russell Trujillo. Russell, if you'll come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Russell Trujillo, 7596 Corrales Road. I live down there on the north end. And right here, I keep a log of all the accidents that happen and everything. And I mean, just for this month alone, I probably got 6 incidents. And this evening, we had a Dodge Durango T-bone a Chevy truck, probably 50 yards down from my driveway. A pretty serious accident. The ambulance came. I don't think anybody got hurt. But, you know, I'm kind of tired of hearing about Corrales being a safe community. And, you know, I hear it like every other day somewhere on the radio or in the paper. We're such a safe community. But I don't think we ever factor in the car accidents we have, you know, up and down Corrales Road. I mean, I've seen dead people hanging off my mailbox. I've had rollover cars in my driveway. I mean, it's just not even the, you know, the personal human injuries. It's property damage also. And I think it's time we take care of the north end of Corrales. I remember the last century, we had all gotten together about building a new road, Loma Larga. And I think it's time that you guys get on the ball and start working on a 448 to Loma Larga connection. You know, I know it's going to take some money. It's going to take a bridge across Harvey Jones Channel. Chief Martinez was talking about his hydrants. He didn't know how he was going to get across Harvey Jones Channel. Maybe this is a perfect opportunity for you guys to start thinking about a bridge. There's right of way, there's dedicated highway there already, dedicated from the village years ago. So I think it's one of the things you guys start to need to talk about. I mean, you know, it'd be nice if the people on Loma Larga enjoyed the car accidents and traffic and the noise that we've heard for the last 40 years, you know? So think about it, guys. Thanks.
Great. Up next is Nancy Sturmer. Nancy, if you'll come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes.
My name is Nancy Sturmer. I live at 150 Camino Bajada. And what brought me in is articles that I've been seeing in the Corrales comment regarding a proposed noise ordinance. And at least from the information in the articles that are published in the comment, it seems like there's a big thrust about commercial noise. And I just ask that you continue with that discussion, but also include the residential issues of noise. Particularly in our neighborhood, we've had a lot of difficulties with an individual who chooses to play extremely loud music well after 10 o'clock at night. Oftentimes the music is amplified. And I hope that whatever you end up with, you consider both the residential issues of noise as well as the commercial issues. And right now, at least the way they're reporting it, the thrust is only about commercial. There's plenty of time left, but thank you.
Up next is Bill Perkins. Bill, if you'll come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Melanie. Mayor, administrator, and village councilors. My name is Bill Perkins, and I reside at 5768 Corrales Road. A group of fellow retired professional planners, architects, and landscape architects have worked in a volunteer capacity to identify land use ideas to help village-owned properties work better. With the encouragement of Councilor Bill Waldman, we will be holding an informal public workshop Sunday, August 24th at 2 p.m. at the Community Center to share these ideas, and we hope to inspire conversations among village citizens about how the village-owned properties might be organized so that activities on the lands are more compatible and so that these public spaces serve the needs of citizens safely and effectively in a way appropriate to who we are and what we value. We see this as a good opportunity for citizens to let us know what they consider to be the priorities and what they consider to be worthwhile. I would love to be able to tell people that this will be fun and easy. Alas, it might be fun, but it won't be easy. Attendees will be asked to look closely at plan view drawings of land that is familiar, plans of the land that many of us know, yet which are showing changes in how elements might be organized. These drawings will help the citizens visualize a somewhat different and we believe potentially better way of organizing activities, parking, walking, picnicking, shopping for produce, etc. We believe this will be a good opportunity for people to provide us with their guidance, their sense of what is important. Again, the meeting is Sunday, August 24th, 2 p.m. at the Community Center. Thank you.
Next is Sabine Schurter. Sabine, if you'll come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sabine Schurter, 47 Rincon Road. Last Saturday, a group of 12 residents were invited for a drink at Casa Viejas by Casa Viejas owners. Thank you, Dan and Molly, for this invitation, while a live music band was playing on the patio. The noise level was very high. It was difficult to carry a conversation. Many patrons were sitting on the quieter north end of the patio. The band used 2 larger speaker boxes sitting on 6 to 7 foot high poles pointing towards Corrales Road and the neighborhood. The Coyote fence bordering Corrales Road has gaps and surely does not stop any sound waves. We were sitting west of the Coyote fence and we could not hear any traffic noise. It was simply too loud. Other than the sirens of emergency vehicles going by once. Bands are now playing in a slightly sunken area in front of the portal, which has not significantly changed the impact on neighbors. At our table, the calibrated phone app read 84 to 90 dBs with high 90s peaks. It was pretty good. At CV's or Casa Vieja's south property line, about 50 feet west of Corrales Road, the app read 70 to 85 dBs with some higher peaks and a fairly consistent ambient level of 50 to 65 dBs. The reading on the property line of the residents south of Casa Vieja were very similar. One issue is we realized that several of the 12 residents live on the interior ditch and further east. And to them, the noise emanating from Corrales Road, whether it's Sandia Bar or Casa Vieja, is very plainly audible to them. They can hear the low frequency noise and it's disturbing and it's loud. You can hear it when walking the interior ditch. Try it out on a Saturday evening starting at 7. Next Saturday, the Woodpeckers will play. They're very loud. So this is also a problem that should be considered for future investigation of the problem. So I would like to also say my personal observation is the noise levels from 2 businesses at a residential property just south of Casa Vieja are significant and have rendered its beautiful front yard pretty much unusable for any enjoyment. The adobe wall courts Corrales Road protects some reasonable protection. While I'm out of time, I will continue next time. Thank you very much.
Up next is Fred Hashimoto. Fred, if you'll come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, Mayor, Councilors. I'm Fred Hashimoto. I live at 485 East La Entrada. To move ahead with the Stantec sewer engineering design phase would be an unreasonable act by the village, resulting in a waste of taxpayers' money. Yes, you voted on some sewer issues 3 years ago, but since then, you and the public have learned from Stantec's PER that no substantive evidence exists to justify a $106 million village-wide wastewater system. You didn't know that before and should not be held to what you thought 3 years ago now that you have new information. The last mayor's message stated, quote, as the village moves forward on a 40-year water plan to present to the Office of the State Engineer, this wastewater and sewer plan is just part of the due diligence of the village administration and governing body, unquote. 2 comments about this. 1, technology will likely change in the next 40 years, So let's not unnecessarily spend a lot of money for a system which is not needed now and will likely be obsolete in 40 years. And two, due diligence means taking reasonable steps. Plunging ahead, designing an unjustified system is not reasonable. That's not due diligence, which has reasonable as an integral part of the definition. You can look it up. You heard that the groundwater testing should be done first. That's obvious. A mayor's message has mentioned that the paucity of available groundwater data, and Village Hall has suggested some free water testing. Okay, let's do robust village-wide testing to see what kind of sewer system, if any, might be needed. Moving ahead with a $2 million engineering design phase would be a significant breach in the village's responsibility to be a steward of public resources and monies. The village should not spend public monies just because it is available or it's other people's money if the reasons for such action are unjustified. Spend a small proportion of that $2 million to do a robust village-wide groundwater survey to see if a $106 million or whatever wastewater system, if any, is needed. And if so, where and to what extent. Please do right things first and not be profligate with public monies. Please exercise due diligence, responsible, and spend public monies wisely and carefully. Thank you very much.
All right. And the last speaker this evening is Johnny Martinez. Johnny, if you'll come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, Johnny Martinez, Old Church, Rafael Court. First off, I want to thank everybody, all the counselors and the administration. I know how much time it takes. And so, and all those that you're visiting here tonight, thank you for showing up because, I used to box. I boxed quite a few years, and your friends on the outside, you get in the ring, you take care of business, and you go out and you shake hands. And so thank you for all being here. I hope that didn't count against my time. In our last council meeting, and I'm sorry, these are bullet statements, so I just have to read fast. In our last council meeting, the fire chief briefed us regarding fire suppression efforts and the challenges he faces. Just think, there's such a challenge to get a fire hydrant into a vicinity for the safety of our residents and their properties. It could potentially save villagers large sums of money over the years and reduce insurance rates. This as opposed to trying to get a sewer line to every individual household, costing residents thousands just on the initial onset of its usage. There was also mention of a pump station on Old Church Road. Where? Today, I measured the distance between electrical power poles on Old Church Road. Some were as close as 24 feet, and some walls between houses were as close as 22 feet. That said, where would you lay pipe for a sewer system? Are you planning on imposing eminent domain? Old Church was never designed to be a road. I'm told that my grandfather sold the piece between La Entrada and Ella to the village for $1 so they could have easement between the two roads as opposed to having to come back all the way to Corrales Road, as there was no Loma Larga back then. We hear the challenge the fire department has navigating some of the smaller roads. This is most likely a very real concern. I cannot see how anyone could think laying sewer pipe down these small roads would not be most disruptive or even practical. At different times, I've heard the mayor reference climate change. This begs the question, why would the village want to impose even more demand on the power grid by introducing grinders and pumps at every resident? A healthy septic tank requires no electrical power. Most of the undeveloped village property is in our sandhills. The fire chief mentioned that the wells are driven to depths of 500 to 600 feet. I think there's plenty of filtration for septic systems in those few hundred feet of sand. And I don't understand why we would spend millions of dollars planning an even larger multi-million-dollar project if it isn't warranted. This is irresponsible. The mayor's previous comments regarding spending other people's money is expository, revealing poor financial stewardship. Other people's money doesn't matter? We elect our governing members in hopes that they're responsible for the money as well as our property interests and village harmony. And if there are problems with the present sewer system, root cause analysis is warranted. The public should know what or who is causing the failures with our present sewer system. Administrator Curry spent a fair amount of time detailing all the community outreach involved with the interior drain project. That project pales in comparison to a sewer project that will surpass $100 million. I cannot see how any further discussions regarding this topic can even be entertained without significant public outreach, media attention, and open public discussion. Lastly, if we do have access to monies, I think it should be spent supporting our first responders and meeting the needs they have in protecting our villagers. Thank you.
That's everyone.
Very good. Okay, so now move on to Counselors Forum. This section is for informational purposes only, not for discussion and debate, to inform the governing body of an issue or concern that would not be addressed on the agenda during the business session. A council member may respond to an issue or a concern brought up by a resident in the preceding Coriolanus Forum, but to remain in compliance with the Open Meeting Act, the subject will not be up for debate or discussion. Who would like to start? Bill?
Yes, thank you. A couple of things. I attended the MRGCD's quarterly meeting with the farmers at the Black Mesa Casino. Not surprisingly, it was all about water. When I asked Jason Kasuga about the progress on the siphon, he was optimistic. They have identified a low bid contractor. While still waiting for final approval from BIA, they hope to begin construction this fall and take 1 year to complete, possibly sooner. He feels they are close to an agreement on the right-of-way issue, and they are planning to go to the Water Trust Board for an extension to use the allocated funds. Secondly, I attended a meeting with Tanya, architect Bill Perkins, and Liz Staley to discuss the progress on satisfying the National Park Service requirements to use the Land and Water Conservation Grant money for Salsey Park. Liz will form a citizens committee to provide input and support for the project, and Bill will assist in the landscape architectural drawings. And finally, thank you again to Bill Perkins for mentioning the Retired Architects Group, which has been evaluating the recently acquired village properties. And we will have a meeting at the Community Center on Sunday, August 24th at 2 o'clock. And all are encouraged to come and provide input. Thanks very much.
Councilor Murray.
Thank you, Mayor. So I had a meeting with the gentleman over on Camino de los Risas. He was complaining about the filming that was taking place over there and that the film crew had violated their permit. And unfortunately, we had no enforcement officer. His comment was that without an enforcement officer, we may be setting the village up for a lawsuit, because why issue a permit if you can't enforce it? He was talking about traffic blocking the road, noise from generator that was supposed to be located on another road. And basically that I understand with a brief discussion with Ron and Melanie that we've had trouble hiring an enforcement officer. But his comment was then don't issue any more film permits unless we have one. I'm not sure if the attorney has an opinion about that, but I can let him speak to it anytime he wants to. Also, another resident over on the Priestley Corval neighborhood, and I want to thank those folks. They invited me over on National Night Out, and it was a great opportunity to talk with some of them. One of the issues is they think there is a number of short-term rentals that are starting to cluster over there, and they're wondering if there's any way we can look at maybe setting limits on the number of short-term rentals within a given area. I don't know if that's an issue. We may have to look at that, but that's something we might want to think about. Also, the cost of hooking up to the step system in the Priestley Corval area was also brought up. One gentleman who is familiar with the bidding process and getting a cost estimate said he was told about it would cost him $20,000 to hook up his place to the step system. And that was just a general quote, not a detailed quote, because the contractor said, we don't know what we're going to find over there if we try to hook you up. And so he was basically giving him a bare bones cost of $20,000. That seems a little bit steep to me since we've got the step system there. But I think we need to look at that particular area along with Counselor Knight and the Mountain Shadows area. Maybe we need to think about a spatial assessment or some funding to get these folks hooked up, because these are on quarter-acre lots, a lot of them. And I do know of another resident that says he has an advanced treatment system. It's worked well for him for 20 years, but still he has to hook up to the step system if he wants to sell his property. That, I think $20,000 is a little bit too much. So we need to, somewhere we need to start working on some kind of a funding mechanism to get these places where these substandard lots exist and get them into the step system that is already there. And I think that's it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilor Mira.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Ron, in that order. And thank all of you out there that in my district, the District 1. So that's a quick address to somebody that asked me, was that, did I say that? I said, what about somebody else down the road here? Well, we're always thinking of everybody down the road, but in District 1, I am their counselor, so therefore I respond to their needs. And our needs, as you could well tell, we have a whole lot of speeding going on. It's been going on for quite some time. So we've had a couple of meetings with the community, literally in the street and in the backyards of individuals as well. And that's worth noting because of the fact that there were some requests that were made. And we're just trying to, when I say we, that's going to start with the mayor and Ron. We took a walk in the street. Ron, you took a picture of us walking. I didn't know you were taking pictures at the time, but that's the way it goes. Turn your back on Ronnie, watch out. And but the truth of the matter is that we did take a walk as well. So this is just a process that we're going through. I think the best part of the process is that we're starting to have a conversation with the department. And that's the most important part. People can do a lot better when they talk. And so, but I was really impressed that we thought we'd have a conversation, phone conversation, Zoom conversation of some sort. But it just so happened that Secretary Ricky decided, he said, what about us coming down? And I said, love to have you. And so I gave the mayor a call, gave Ron a call, and he said, good idea. So we are having a brief meeting with the residents in that particular arena because that's what we've talked to him about. I'll stop here for a second and go back for just a minute. You know, we had a lot of rain, which was really nice. But during that time period, we also had when you have rain here in Corrales or anywhere else, everything's going to grow. And everything started growing on the street there. They started even covering signs and individuals who have to get their mail at the mailboxes. They have to go across everything that just grew up in front of the mailboxes. It was getting really treacherous out there, to say the least. Individuals crossing the street to try to get their mail and then having to cross the street back over again on some of those S curves. So what we're going to do, and the open intention is to see if we can have a discussion about how is it that the state can help us with this situation that we have out there. And I think one of the ideas that you have, and I want to thank for bringing the work that you did. It was a lot of hard work to try to get a lot of people to sign on, but even if it's going door to door. But the bottom line is that for 48, it's a little mix mash of speed limits, as you all know. Some of you over here have them. We have them over here. Then we have 35 over there on those S curves. And if some of you really wander on down, those are some treacherous S curves down there. And I added to the pot by saying, imagine everything starts growing and imagine S curves out there. So what was nice is that the department came back and they said, how can we help? But I really want to thank, and I said this the last meeting, I really want to thank the Corrales organization, all of us collectively together. And we also had people go out there and cut down some of those weeds. And then the department came and gave us permission to cut it. And that was like unheard of prior to this one. So what we're talking about now is we hadn't had this happen before. We're going to take advantage of, if the secretary wants to come down and visit, you're welcome to come down. And if we can make something happen the day after that, we're making no promises, but we are asking. And there's nothing wrong with asking, because all we can do is have more conversation with that. So again, I want to thank you, Ron. I want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for coming down, and all of you for being participants as a community, saying this is what we need and this is how we go about getting it. And so that's what's going to happen. Counselors, I was keeping you informed. I know I called Councilor Brigade because he's right on the other side of literally that he's on the other side of the street. But until I got some real times taken care of. But ours is going to be coming up on Friday. We're going to have a meeting, and I want to thank Mike Hammond for utilizing his house and entertaining the secretary there, so we can sit down and have some discussions and go out and take a look what's going on. I'm open for any questions that you may have. Give me a call. But neighbors, we all couldn't fit inside Mike's house, but I think we have what begins as a conversation, and that's what usually change happens after you have some conversation. We're looking for some change. So thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate you. Sure. And the Corrales.
Just a very brief follow-up on the National Night Out. Thanks to everybody who participated. Thanks to everybody who hosted. Specifically in my district, I want to call out Cecilia Howard for hosting on Ranchitos. A lot of great food and a lot of great conversations, a lot of listening, a lot of learning. Corrales PD was there, a whole bunch of them. At first I thought something was wrong.
Was there food there?
Yes.
There you go. That's your answer.
And we had animal control follow on after that. So anyway, it was great and appreciate everybody for that. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Well, then let's move on to the consent agenda. Approval of minutes from July 22nd, 2025, regular meeting. Approval of minutes from July 29, 2025, work study on noise. Approval of annual Sandoval County Tourism MOU and approval of Harvest Festival event application. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mayor, I'd like to pull the Harvest Festival application if possible.
Okay. So are you going to make a motion for the consent agenda?
Yes, I would move that we approve the.
Except for the Harvest
items
Festival?
1, 2, and 3 of the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Very good. All right. Harvest Festival application. What do you want to do?
Mayor, I would move that we postpone approval of this application to August 26th. There's section 7, which is incomplete. Also, it involves any indication that the departments may not have had enough time to review this application. Also, the application was submitted July 29th. And the application says it's supposed to be 90 days. And I don't think 7 days is enough time for our departments to review this application to make sure everything is on the up and up, especially when it deals with proof of liability insurance. We don't know, is the chief of fire and the police department, are they needed? We don't even know if the cost. And the other thing that concerns me too is, are they paying us anything for this? Because it might be against the Anti-Donation Act, because there's supposed to be a nominal cost paid back to the village as part of this if we are to support this, because we're allowing them use of our facilities.
We're co-sponsors.
Okay,
So we're sharing it. We're co-sponsors.
what are we doing then?
Well, the part that we're providing is the place.
Nant, sir, I disagree, because I think according to the anti-donation clause, there's supposed to be a nominal payment back for any organization that uses government facilities. I may be wrong, but maybe.
It's a nonprofit organization. They raise funds for donations,
Yes,
charitable donations. And we have now, this is not a reason, but we've done this for years this way.
Well, anyway, again, section 7 is not complete. It is totally blank, except for other than it says approval by Parks and Rec. And I think we need to have that filled out in order for this application to come forward as it is. So I would move that we postpone this to August 26th for approval.
We have a second?
I'll second that just simply because of the blank signature section. That's pretty dicey legally, I think.
Okay. Do you want to do you have a comment?
And I,
Okay.
I did receive the copy of the insurance, the liability insurance yesterday.
Well, I mean,
So,
that doesn't do
I
us any
can, I
good.
can include that in the packet on the 26th if you
But,
choose to
yeah,
move it.
but all the departments that needs to weigh in on this, especially down at the very bottom, where it has the signatures of our fire, police department, planning and zoning, Parks and Rec, Public Works, and our village administrator. And there are no signatures at all on that.
Any further discussion, comments? Bill?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. So all those in favor of the motion to put this off till the next meeting, signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, none, it appears none are opposed, so we'll put it off till August 26th.
Can I ask a quick question? Were we voting, we were just voting to modify the agenda or?
You were voting to put this off for 2 weeks.
Okay.
The motion was to put it off till August 26th.
Is there a representative from Kiwanis here that we can make sure that that doesn't create any sort of logistical or legal hardship?
I don't see Lane anywhere. Do you see anybody?
The main thing that they needed from us to get the next approvals, they've already gotten. They needed a resolution of support and the co-sponsorship, which the council has already done.
Okay.
So that their next thing they're working on is the application to NMDOT for the road closure.
Mayor Sandy's on the, you're on the committee, right?
Oh, okay. Here,
Can you,
why don't
can you
come
come up to the mic?
this is a bit of a big job. Like I can see getting the signatures, but you wouldn't say no next on the 26th, would you? Because there's a lot of money out there in holding things and tents and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, all right, Mayor, if I may. All right.
I'm the director.
Can you come up to the microphone so people can hear you?
You gotta come up here to the, please recognize, tell us who you are, please.
Hi, my name is Rusty Picard. I'm a member of Kiwanis. I'm the Director of Logistics for the Harvest Festival. I have in my hands roughly $25,000 worth of contracts I have to order in the very near future. So we guarantee we have tents, tables, chairs, porta potties. So it'll be pushing it. If something happened on the 26th, I can't guarantee I'd have all the equipment. So please consider that.
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
If I may ask a question then. Okay, so the application says you will submit this 90 days prior to the event. We got it July 29th. It's only 7 days ago, and it's 60 days to the event or less. So you need to have this in before the 1st of July or before to make sure that you have the departments make sure that they can do everything that you need to be done. I find this unacceptable having it submitted 7 days ago. And it's also having this one form is not being filled out by our departments. They don't have enough time because they're busy doing other things. I think that that's important that we have this application filled out completely. That's my biggest complaint is I don't think our departments had enough time to look at this and to respond if there were issues. I appreciate all the work you put into this. This is, you've done a lot of work. Obviously, I'm not complaining about that, but the fact is, submitting this 1 month past the application date, I find that unacceptable. That needs to be done earlier next year if you're going to do this.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this year we can't do anything about it, but next year. I
Well,
guarantee
I'm
we
sorry,
can.
you've been doing this for how many years?
I've been doing it for 3 years, but
Andy, how many years have we been doing this?
Years, but I mean, I've noticed it, but it's like DOT, it's 60 days.
Yeah, well,
And
that,
then they wait till the.
Please don't compare it.
Yeah.
Please don't compare that to DOT.
but you've got to give our group, our administration time to look at this and make sure everything is in place, including the fire department, the police department, public works, and especially when you talk about using water for barrels, what happens to that water after after the event?
Okay,
Anyway,
your motion is passed.
okay.
And so, thank you, Sandy.
I think,
All right. So this is put off to August 26th, Melanie.
I got it.
Okay. New business, consideration action approval of ordinance 25-02. This is the CIAC update. And it's required review of the agreement every 5 years. I need a motion to approve this, please.
So approved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Yes, sir.
so, explain to me what the charts are for. I mean, they're 1 through 10 years, but from when? From the original conception of the capital improvements plan?
What they are required to, oh, Lori, here we go. Got the person I was just talking to earlier. And as I recall, you were part of this original group, weren't you, Stuart?
You know how many years ago that was?
Yeah, I understand that.
How my memory is now?
Thank you, Mayor,
ma'am.
Administrator Curry, counselors. I don't have the chart in front of me, but I do believe that is the one and only chart that we've had. Gosh, I want to say 2004, 2007, somewhere in there is when it first began. And if you'll indulge me for a moment, I'll go ahead just because we're in a public meeting again and maybe give you a brief summation of why we're doing this, if I may. I did it once before, but it's been a month. So again, it's New Mexico state law does mandate that there's a periodic review and update of land use assumptions and capital improvements anytime a community chooses to impose impact fees, which we do in the far northwest sector. So between February and June of this year, there were 3 publicly noticed meetings of the Capital Improvements Advisory Commission. We met 3 times. We talked about, you have a tremendous amount of pages. The appendices are very large, but so my summation is this. The committee looked at the land use assumptions document. They added something that discusses the SCAFCA work that's taking place right now along Don Julio Road. That is going to divert stormwater flows from the Tortugas Arroyo into Montoyas Arroyo, and that will allow Tortugas, which is now considered a FEMA floodplain, to be demapped and permit future development there without the floodplain development restrictions. They also added a mention that 2 residential acres in the NCOD along Don Julio were zoned from residential to commercial in 2024. We think there's a more or less 90 to 95 homes there, and also that it will probably take until 2060 to achieve 100% build out up there. So that's mentioned. And then lastly, in the land use assumptions document, we just put the last capital improvements project is called Tract F, which is owned by the Village of Corrales. It's a drainage area, and it has a cost estimate. So that's what changed there. The other thing they looked at length was the capital improvements plan, and they added under project area and existing facilities that 2025 amendment is now just going to state there are now more than 95 residents built or under construction in the far northwest sector. We also mentioned that NMDOT has completed the roadway improvements to New Mexico 528 that connect Don Julio to the Industrial Park Service Road, allowing for safer left turns onto New Mexico 528. And finally, we updated some numbers that we've received from Fire Commander Tanya Latin, just general calls, number of calls, which as you can expect have gone up, which you would expect to happen when you have more homes and more activity. And so finally, the ordinance that you're actually voting on has the appendices, it has the land use assumptions with those revisions, it has the capital improvements plan with those revisions, and the ordinance itself, which is ordinance 25-02, the most important thing it says is that whereas the amended CIP makes no changes to the existing impact fee chart, which is designed to provide appropriate revenue to the village while not imposing excessive costs on residents and business owners in the far northwest sector. So everything I've stated to you is what's been added, revised, and then we just, in the ordinance, make it clear that, yes, this 5-year period, we are going to continue with the impact fees.
Mayor, so if I may, so if I were to build on a lot up there today, what year would I use for my impact fee? Would it be year 1 or year 10?
I believe, again, I don't have the chart in front of me. I can tell you the amount is 26,951 or 25,951.
No, that's my question is about the chart lists years 1 through 10, but it doesn't say when it began. I mean, obviously it began when the improvement was first planned, but if I were to build up there, do I get charged at the maximum rate because it's year 10? Because
Yes.
now we're 20 years.
You get charged 25,000 plus.
So you will, so it's really the 1 through 9 is really irrelevant, right?
Yeah, I don't know why they're there either.
Okay.
Because when the solar panel people bought the land to put their solar panels on for the industrial park, for the sewer treatment plant, they had to pay $25,000 plus an acre.
Right. We're not changing the cost.
Yeah, the costs have been stable now for several years.
Yeah, so, okay, that's what I need to know is we're using year 10 because now we're 20 years into the plan. So we're using the maximum amount on any of these charts.
It talks about it, the potential of it going up, I believe, in 2036. But again, there'll be a committee who will either say, no, let's do not do that.
I'm just making sure that I understand that year 10 is the one on my.
If I had it in front of me, Counselor, I'd feel more confident answering the question, but
Well, I mean, it doesn't go any further than year 10.
right. Right.
So-
We haven't updated it. They didn't update it before I started working here and.
I just want to make sure that if I go up to somebody and I say, oh, you're on year 1. No, you're not. You're on year 10. Is that right, Mayor?
So I'm not quite sure why those years are carried that way, but they're carried as a historical part of the document showing you how things have been adjusted over time. I mean, we went through this many years ago, when I was on that committee, with Steve Groman. And, I couldn't understand why it was taking us so long to pay off this loan. But, it's presently set at 25,000. We actually wanted to set it at a different rate. But you can't do that if somebody's already paid the 25,000. Yes, sir, Councilor Mira.
Thank you. And on that point, this is when I called you, well, a couple of weeks ago on this particular issue because of the so attendance. I believe in the end, you said, whatever we do now, it stays as it says here and remain in full force and effect. But we also come back and visit it. I think that's important that you told me. We will come back and visit this again, not just by rule, but by law,
Correct. Every 5 years,
Every
we
5
must. If we don't do that by state law, we would lose the ability to collect impact fees.
So we will come, we have the
Yes.
ability to come back with that. I will pull it
And,
out.
and it's at least every 5 years. So there's nothing to stop council from saying, we'd like to look at this in
Again.
depth next year.
Right. Thank you.
Yes.
Just in an effort to further complicate things, on page 163, we have a chart that goes all the way to 20 years. That has fees going up to 42,661 at year 20. Every other chart I can find only goes to 10 years, but this one goes to 20 years and continues to grow past the 25,961, which is the 10-year amount.
The price now is $25,000. That may have been in anticipation that it would increase, but it got so high, so relatively in the committees, we wanted to hold it down because we don't think that in order to pay this off, it didn't seem to show that we needed all that kind of money coming in.
Right.
I mean,
That's why we kept it
25,000.
stable.
Say again?
Stable. That's why we've kept it stable. It's
Yeah, so we kept it stable for many years. Now, in anticipation, there may have been an amortization schedule. I don't know what you're looking at because I know there's a ton of pages there. And I have to admit, I didn't look at every one of them. But the price right now, if you went out there and bought an acre of land and you wanted to build on it, it'll cost you $25-something thousand.
And this will last until all that land is developed. Is that correct?
Well, right now, that's the price.
Okay.
Now, it may change, but that'll be evaluated in 5 years after they see what the experience has been.
Well, but let's say in 5 years, we have a complete build out.
These are things I don't have a clue on.
Okay.
We have an accountant who helps figure all this out, as I remember. Wasn't it somebody named Donald Thorpe or something?
the bottom line is, counselors, the price will not go up unless you approve it.
Yeah, it has to be.
And there will be 5 years from now, a recommendation by the committee to stay the same, or we need to go up, and here's why, but the council will make that decision.
I mean, I'm
No matter what the chart says.
curious, just as a matter of general principle, since I've been on this council in 5 years, we've raised the cost of every fee in the village, I think twice, as far as like getting a fire inspection, as far as hosting an event. This one's been locked in for 20 years, which I find.
I don't think it's been 20 years because it went up while I was on CIAC.
I'm looking at a document dated July 1st, 2004. Year 10 is 25,961. So it's 21 years ago.
So I recall a time where we were trying to hold it at around $12,000.
That was, I mean, yeah, that was the year one rate. I mean, just in raw inflation dollars.
Okay.
This is.
Yes, it's $25,000, and that's what we're approving tonight. We can certainly, it'll be reevaluated if in 5 years you think it needs to double. It can certainly be doubled, but I was hoping we would pay this thing off. Yes, sir.
So from what I gather, then we have about $100,000 we need to spend for erosion control. Is that correct?
That's proposed. yeah.
Okay, so if that work gets done, the village pays for that, and then it gets paid back to us through impact fees. Is that correct?
It could be repaid from the impact fee
Correct.
Okay.
income. Yeah.
Anything else? Okay, Councilor Murray, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilor Burkett,
Yes.
Councilor also Brooke.
Could you remind me the language of the motion? I think. it's
This
yes,
is
but I-
to approve ordinance 2502.
Actually,
Yes.
I actually have one other question. I'm sorry. It says there's going to be a second reading September 9th.
I think we've already had
No,
one.
that's for the next ordinance 2503.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm mixing them up. Yeah, sorry.
So the way that it started,
Yes, sir.
The vote?
Counselor Mira,
Yes, sir.
Counselor Woolman.
Aye.
All right.
Counselor Alsobrook, did you actually vote?
I did. You did.
It was a yes?
Thank you.
I interrupted him very rudely while he was doing it.
So the next one is consideration action approval of resolution 2535, publication of notice for ordinance 25-03, zone map amendment for 4945 Corrales Road. So this resolution starts the process for the ordinance to be approved in another 30 days or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, we have to post notice in the newspaper 15 days before the,
Yeah. So
the actual approval.
It starts the process so then we can approve the ordinance.
Yeah.
So do I have a motion to approve the resolution for zone map amendment 4945 Corrales Road?
Move to approve.
So moved.
Second.
So we have two motions for and a second.
Sweet.
Any discussion?
Just a quick
Counselor
question.
Murray.
Just a quick question. So the lot that is just north of the proposed zone amendment, it says residential, but it's 50 feet wide. Is that an easement? Is the developer going to come use that, or is that a private easement which?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Counselor. That lot is a separate lot owned by another property owner and not a part of the zone change. And it will come back before you potentially as a clean and lien, but it's a separate property.
But it's, I would say it's probably, well, anyway, that's immaterial.
50 feet is about how wide it is, yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just curious because I just noticed.
You'll get to see it again.
Yeah, yeah, I'm working
sure
on
we
that.
will.
Working on that.
Any other questions? Any other comments? Counselor Woolman?
No, good.
Oh,
Counselor Murray?
so is the developer then going to apply for a DOT permit for an entrance to this property?
I would assume he has to have a permit.
Yeah, at some point in time, he'll need to do a full-on commercial site development plan, and that would be part of it.
Okay.
The ingress egress.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, Counselor Woolman, how do you vote?
Aye.
Counselor Mira?
Yes, sir.
Counselor Alsobrook?
Aye.
Counselor Burkett?
Aye.
Counselor Murray?
Yes.
All right. And now we have approval of direction to the Planning and Zoning Commission to consider changes to lot coverage ordinance. Now, Lori, may I ask you one more question before you take a seat? The commission would like for us to give them direction. They want the council to actually tell them what we want.
Well, what they asked is just that there be an official request given to them to look at it. We've already talked about it, and they're going to talk about it again next Wednesday, week from Wednesday, but they did want that official request.
So Counselor Burkett.
So looking at this, I think we should stay with a percentage versus a hard square footage stop, because I think there's a possible unintended consequence here of people dividing lots unnecessarily because of that.
I
Because
guarantee you're going to see that recommendation.
yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I'm
Among
I would
others.
support dropping down to 25% from 35%, but I don't want a square footage stop.
You will see that. Yes.
Counselor Murray?
Yeah, thank you. So when we met with Chris Allen, the reason I put the the acreage or the square footage at a fixed number is because the percentages give you a lot wide range of latitude. Meaning if you got a acreage of 4 acres within an A2 zone, you're now allowed 35% of that 4 acres of its one lot. That's why we were talking about with the comprehensive plan, fixing it down a fixed amount. Now, there are some loopholes I already recognize that needs to be fixed. One, when you talk about smaller lot sizes, half acre, quarter acre, yeah, fixed amount means you could probably cover the whole lot. But I think that's something that the Planning and Zoning Commission needs to look at. And I think with the comprehensive plan, percentages give you too much latitude, because if the lot varies more than an acre, then you've got more lot coverage. And so that's why we were trying to limit it.
I understand what you're saying, but we have 35% now, and I haven't seen that be a real problem. Most of the bigger lots are under cultivation or livestock.
Well, I think council.
There might be an exception somewhere.
I would invite you to come to my house and talk with Cecilia Howard, who lives behind me, and understand what 35% lot coverage can do.
Yeah,
on
I've
one
seen
acre.
it. I have. I know there are exceptions. I'm just saying, we have 35% now and, yeah, there's always going to be a few of those.
Right. I mean, I think my specific case concern is somebody that has a 4-acre lot and wants to put in a driveway and wants that driveway to be impervious. There is no way they're going to get to the back of their 4 acres in less than 20,000 square feet. And so it has no effect on visual appeal, rural character. All we're doing is saying, hey, you should split this into two 2-acre lots so you can get 20,000 square feet on both of them.
Well, I think the intent is to get smaller lot coverages so that you can get smaller homes, which makes it more affordable for anybody coming into the village to buy a house. If you put in 4-acre home, I mean, if you have 4 acres and you have 35% lot coverage, you're up to 25,000 square feet, you can do for a home or a barn or any other accessory building you want to do. And like in Councilor Alterbrook's case, it is a massive building, including the home, and he's got it maxed out. I mean, what the comprehensive plan was trying to do was give more scenic value and then reduce the lot coverage. Now, 35% is too much now, I think, and 20%, which is what we base these figures on, is, but it's, I think the direction is to have the Planning and Zoning Commission take a look at this and think about the future of Corrales and how we have homes that come in to be built. Because right now, no ordinary citizen that's in the middle class or even lower class can even afford to come in this village because we've got too big of homes being built.
Yes, sir.
I think it might be good if we capture this in our instructions to planning and zoning, that we can stick with the square footage language, but let them know that we are looking for modification that would allow, for instance, Councilor Burkett's example of a long driveway of impervious coverage and things like that. They may come up with some combination of things of, if it's 1 acre or 2 acre, you're at this absolute square feet figure. And if you're over that, it's some percentage, but a certain percent has to be however they want to name a driveway or something like that. But at any rate, I think if we captured this in our instructions to planning and zoning,
So we need
they'll
some
be looking
direction.
for us.
We
My
might like to take a,
Yeah, my question would just be for yourself, as the item number 3 is just for the approval of the direction. Do you think that we've given them the direction with what we talked about tonight? Is that the direction that they were looking for?
They were really just looking for an official vote to do their recommendation. That's all. But obviously, if you want to give them specifics, you may do that, of course.
Actually, I was trying to do
That's
the
what
opposite,
they
give them the leverage to be able to do that, because they got to come back to us anyway.
Right.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
and what you're offering them direction. So we need a motion that says, okay, we like to go with 25%. We'd like to go with 12,000 square feet, whatever you want, whatever you feel. But
The motion can just be as simple as we would like planning and zoning to review this and give us all their recommendations regardless of, because they may foresee something that council isn't thinking of in this moment. And if you limit them to, we want you to do this with this number, they may not be able to give you these recommendations that they may come up with.
that's very
Right,
good.
That's why I was asked that question, but we did indeed answer number 3. Right. So.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I think when we're looking at this and when they're looking at this, we have to look at it from floodplain management as far as impervious surfaces. We have to look at it for rural character and line of sight stuff. I do not think we can look at it for economic diversity in the village, because just to buy the dirt is $400,000. We've already ruled out 80% of people just to buy a lot. It doesn't matter if they're going to build 1,000 square feet or 10,000 square feet. Most people can't move here. So I don't think that's our limiting factor. I mean, it's just the baseline cost is so high now that decreasing houses to 10,000 feet rules me out of the neighborhood.
Counselor, I tend to disagree because one, we are not a family-friendly village right now.
I agree 100% with that, but I don't think it's as big a house as
Yeah, it is, because
$400,000 dirt.
yeah, but you got a home that's $1.5 million. Can you afford to go in and buy that? I couldn't. Yeah, so anyway, I would move that the Planning and Zoning Commission look at the lot coverage and limit it to 20 to 25%.
I agree. I think dropping it to 25%, I very
Well,
much support.
I mean, whether it's a hard number or a percentage.
So the motion is you would suggest to planning and zoning that the coverage should be dropped to 25%,
20 to
and-
25% based on the comprehensive plan.
20 to
I will
25%.
second that.
We need,
And you'll second that.
Yep.
So Murray made it and Burkett seconded.
We have it.
All right. Thank you,
thank you, Laura.
Lori. Appreciate that.
Counselor Alsbrook, are you happy with that? Is that satisfactory?
Yeah, I was glad to have the addition of words for the comprehensive plan in that.
Yeah.
Because that's really what's the driver here.
Councilor Mira, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilor Alsabrook, Councilor Burkett,
Yes.
Councilor Murray,
Yes.
Councilor Woolman.
Aye.
Thank you, sir. Consideration action approval of Main Street Professional Services Agreement.
Motion to approve?
Do I get a second?
Second.
So we have a motion to approve and a second. Any discussion? Yes, sir. Councilor Murray.
So as part of the contract, there's an inclusion in there that we supply an office space for them. And it's based on average lease value. Do we have a number for that?
I need to ask for help. None? No, we give them a space. They use it.
Well, but I mean, it's in addition to what we're already paying them, but
Yes.
but it seems like to me in the contract, we should have a number somewhere in there. But,
You mean like
Yeah,
a
and-
square
and-
footage office space or?
well, yeah, I mean, how much are we paying in addition for office square footage as compensation? And then I suppose that utilities would be included with that as well.
And right now, they technically aren't using any office space here in the
Well,
village.
I understand that, but the contract does say that we.
It does. Yes, it does.
So I'm just curious, what is the average lease value for square footage in the village? I mean, for office space.
I have no clue.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do we hear?
Oh, here, wait, I've got a call from the audience.
Jim, no?
Jim Kruger, would you like to make comment? Please.
As it relates to that specific question, Councilman Murray, in the past, that's been valued at about $1,400 a month. For the space we had in the past.
How many square feet do we have in this? Do we?
Well, that was,
Kind of a big closet.
two or three.
I know.
Pretty small space.
Yeah. Well, Tanya was showing us, she really likes her space now, so.
Yeah, you can only spread out so far.
But in the past, when we did have that space, had a space, we took the square footage and we checked with the market to see what the rate was for rental properties, commercial rental properties. And that's what was allocated to that square footage, and that's what was then put in or given a value for that.
Okay.
And since we're not using any space currently and none has been designated, that's why it's a little broader in this version of the contract has been in the past.
Okay. Thank you.
And Mayor, there are 3 people who would like to speak on this issue from the audience.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. First up is Beth Waldron-Uhas. And Beth, if you'll come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes.
Okay, Beth Waldron-Uhas, I'm at 415 Camino de la Tierra. Oh, did you hear any of that?
It's better.
Okay, okay. So I am here personally, and I'm the current president of the Corrales Society of Artists. And I just wanted to voice our support for Corrales Main Street because they do so much for lots of different organizations around the village. And not just financially, but also their time and, effort. That's all I have to say. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Up next is Linda Parker. And Linda, same thing. If you'll come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, you'll have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, administrators and counselors. I'm Linda Parker, and I live at 94 Las Paredes. I'm the treasurer of Corrales Main Street. And what I'd like to explain once again, what Main Street does for the village. First of all, I'm going to say what we don't do. We do not recruit businesses of any kind to come into the village. And there have been several instances where individuals were concerned about Main Street wanting to bring in big box stores. Well, first of all, the demographics of the village would never permit a big box store to come in here, but that is not our purpose. Excuse me. We do support new businesses when they do arrive. We'll do ribbon cuttings for them, and we will also do activities at existing businesses to help promote their business. The end result of our participation with the businesses is that it helps increase the gross receipts tax, which, as I understand, makes up 40% of the village budget. And then the last point I want to make is that we do support a whole variety of nonprofits in the village through either staffing or volunteer activities. And on occasions, we do provide financial support for them. But bottom line is, our desire is to make Corrales a great place to live. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
All right, and next is Rex Funk. Rex, if you'll come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. You'll have 3 minutes.
I'm Rex Funk. I live at 121 Cary Road in Corrales. I'd like to speak in support of Corrales Main Street and this particular contract. I'm also a member of the Corrales Society of Artists, and I was in charge of the preview gallery that we had at the old church this year. And Main Street helps us out by providing food and beverages for our event, and we appreciate that very much. In the past, I've had a lot of dealings with Main Street in connection with different types of projects, and they're a very professionally run organization with a good cross section of the community supporting them. And I encourage you to remember that all of the events in total that the Main Street supports and puts on, all of those people who attend those events are voting with their feet to support Main Street. And your support of Main Street is much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Angela, did you or Jesse want to introduce the video to kind of talk about other things that Main Street does?
Yes, good evening. Thanks for having us this evening. And I think what we were hoping to share, we have a current list of projects. And Jesse, this is Jesse Penrod. I think most know her. Assistant Director. Did we, Jim, pass out the current list of projects? We have a current list of projects that we will also email, just to make it a little bit easier to look up some of this stuff. I think some of the feedback we understand maybe is we don't take the time to explain and promote all of the things we do. And so one of the projects listed on there is something that was a collaboration that was born out of Viva Corrales, actually, and working with all these partner organizations that we have. Jesse's been the lead on it, but working with CHAMP and SEAC has really been a critical way for us to understand how, some of the ways that an organization like ours can help in the community. And sometimes figuring out how to help is one of the hardest things to do, but we've spent a lot of time on that. And this is the 3rd video in a series that also came much from Ride, Stride, and Giddy Ups, the event that Chris Allen invented and has become a part of Viva Corrales. So we just wanted to share this. It's on social media, but we know that it doesn't always get viewed. So thank you, Melanie, if you can find it. And then we encourage everybody to try to look up the other videos and let us know if you have any questions about any of this.
Name's Harry Talumas. Everybody calls me Wild Horse Harry. Born and raised in New Mexico, just outside Albuquerque. I'm a native New Mexican. Be a horseshoer, and I school horses to drive and people to learn how to drive. This is Frank and Lucas. They're basically a draft or a wagon horse, a draft horse for working farms, plows. What people don't understand is horses are considered a legal mode of transportation, so we're subject to all traffic laws and all that, but we do have right of way over bicyclists and vehicles. But we still have to obey traffic laws. If you have your arm like this, it means a right-hand turn. If your arm's completely straight out, that means a left-hand turn. I stick your arm out, especially if you do it straight out, they think you're waving at them, and they don't realize that you're actually giving them a hand signal because they'll wave back at you.
Do you think they go 30 miles an hour on Corrales Road?
I was just thinking that maybe we could hire Harry to take his wagon and horses down the middle of the road twice a day.
All day long.
You know, that would certainly slow traffic down.
Thanks for showing it. And I think, Jesse, if you have anything else to talk about a little bit, this was in an effort, as you know, the conversations about traffic, speed, safety on the road came up more than a year, 2 years ago, probably, and was actually a specific request to maybe produce the signage, which, you know, I think we put on all of the wagons for Harvest Festival last year and hoped that they helped. And then eventually they've been posted at I think the 3 different places, possibly 4, as you're entering in to Corrales. But the safety videos were just another way to hopefully ask people how to visit Corrales when they do, and also teach residents some things, because it's hard to know everything in a community, and there's a lot of diversity here with bicycles, pedestrians, and obviously the equestrians, and the tractors I think might be next in terms of how to handle those.
We can slow traffic down.
Yes, and the videos I think are a good way to educate people how and when not to pass the tractors and that kind of thing. So just something that we are excited to have and share. So
yeah, good evening, Mayor, councilors. Just real quick, I just wanted to encourage anybody, if you see these videos, I think the best way to get the word out is just to share them. And the idea behind them was to really just encourage a lot more kind and courteous interactions between people. So the idea was to keep everything really light and maybe a little entertaining. That way that people are encouraged to share them. And hopefully also just reach a wider young audience as well, because a lot of people are using social media. So we've got them up on our website. We'll continue to post them. And then I also encourage anybody to reach out if they notice something they feel like people might not know or might not be aware of, to just reach out to us and let us know, and we might be able to make a video series on that. As I was doing this project, I talked to a lot of the equestrians and just kind of listening to things that they have to deal with. I sit at the farm stand a lot and notice that I've got to ask people to move so that Kurt can park his horse at the hitching post. And that's kind of where this started. So if anything else comes up, let us know and we can get that in the series. But yeah, if you see it, share it, and just let us know if there's anything we can add.
Thank you.
I wanted to thank the council and the mayor and administrator for your past support of Main Street. And I have a reasonable amount of information here that I could share with you, but I think maybe I'll not do that, because I think everyone here on the council and in the administration is familiar with Main Street. And what we just showed you is one of many projects that we work on and events that we develop and work with the rest of the community on. But I would be happy to answer any questions. I did want to point out the revisions in the contract, because I think they are important, and wanted to highlight those for you. And hopefully you've already noticed them as you've looked at the contract. But one, we took out all the language from prior year's contract with regards to the arts and cultural history. We added to the scope of services section a reference to the comp plan that was just recently adopted by the council. The fee for our services under the contract remains the same as it has for the last 3 years at this point in time. And as we just talked earlier with Councilor Murray's question, we revised the section in the agreement with regards to the space that the village provides as an additional part of our compensation. And other than that, most of the other changes, all of the other changes are pretty minor in nature, if you will. And nits and gnats, as one of my friends used to say, and periods and commas and those kinds of things. So, and Linda, our treasurer, just mentioned to you, but one of the things that was important to me personally was the discussion about gross receipts tax. And in all the conversations that have gone on in the last year about a variety of things that relates to Main Street, the comment was made that gross receipts tax really doesn't make much difference to the village. And again, as Linda pointed out, the fact that by my calculation and looking at the village's budget, it represents about 40% of the village's revenue. So that is a significant piece of the budget, if you will. And I think you as the councilors and the governing body are fully aware of that significance, but I think it's important to highlight it. So, but again, would certainly appreciate any questions, comments, or thoughts that Angela, Jesse, or I could try to answer for you as it relates to the contract.
Councilor Murray?
Thank you. So I really appreciate that video, and I think you ought to go to APS with it and show it to them, because we've got with K-8 coming into the village. But I mean, make people aware that when they come in the village, we got horses and we got pedestrians and we got bicycles.
Mm-hmm.
I think that video is really a good demonstration of that.
Good, thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Okay. Anything else?
No.
How do you vote, Councilor Murray?
Yes.
Councilor Burkett?
Yes.
Councilor Alsabrook?
Yes.
Councilor Miera?
Yes, sir.
And Councilor Woolman?
Aye.
Okay, very good. 100%. That appears to be the end of our business session. Future agenda items, candidate filing day for November election at Sandoval County Clerk's office on August 26th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The forms are available online, or you can get them here in the administration office. And the benefit is that Melanie can notarize it. Approval of ordinance 25-03, the zone map amendment that we earlier approved the resolution, and presentation from the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Commission on September 9th. Anything else? Oh, we have September 20, August, no, it's August 26th. August 26th for the Harvest Festival.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll add that.
Yes, sir.
How about status on Old Church? I mean, I meant to ask Ron about that during his administration report.
That could probably be just an administrator's report, don't you think? Yeah. Because, Tanya's directly involved with it, and then, we get updates every once in a while.
Yeah, I just forgot to ask during your last report. I just curious about where it's at. I saw some pictures from the
Oh, it's just horrible.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was just curious about where it's at.
Well,
Are they on schedule to complete in time?
They want to be through by the first week of September. There's a wedding or something scheduled, and the contractor, I believe, said should be okay.
Yep. It's,
And
last I heard, it's on schedule.
last I heard.
And the money flows. And the money's flowing for it just as you voted on it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so we're not spending anything more than what we already
Not at
approved?
this point, no.
Okay. That's good news.
If we do, we'll let you know.
Yes. Well, we'll ask you. It's what we'll do. We'll ask you. Okay. Business is completed. Future agenda items have been listed. So I'm going to adjourn the meeting.
Swing gavel.